10. Amusement park rides that have killed. Number 10. King's Dominion's Shockwave. Shockwave is a Japanese-designed roller coaster which takes passengers on one inversion, 180-plus foot drop and can reach speeds up to 50 miles per hour. Perhaps its most unique feature is that it allows passengers to ride standing upright. For rides like this, as with any roller coaster, it's important to follow safety protocol. Unfortunately, 20-year-old Timothy Fan fell to his death after sustaining massive head injuries in 1999 as the coaster was making speeds of around 40 miles per hour. An investigation found that the safety restraints were working properly, but the 20-year-old rider had wriggled out of his restraints, according to fellow passengers who had also witnessed his careless behavior prior to the ride taking off. Number 9. Geauga Lake's Dominator. Dominator is the world's longest floorless steel coaster and features the fourth tallest vertical loop in the world. In 2012, a 48-year-old woman from North Carolina was found unconscious in her seat after the train returned to the passenger loading area. She was reported as having a seizure-like episode during the ride and was immediately taken to a hospital where she was later pronounced dead. An autopsy reported that she died of a brain aneurysm. No pre-existing medical conditions that could have attributed to this were known. The ride was closed for inspection after the incident, and after all safety inspections passed, the ride reopened after 3 days. Number 8. Kings Island's Flight Commander. A 32-year-old woman fell out of the popular Flight Commander ride in 1991 and died. The ride lifts its passengers in the air and spins them upside down while going in a circular formation. An investigation later discovered that she was intoxicated to BAC 0.30% and had disregarded proper safety procedures before the ride took off. Both park employees and visitors noted that the woman was riding alone and believed that, coupled with the intoxication factor, played a role in allowing her limp body to slip out of the car, which can seat 2 people and offers torso restraints and lap bars. Number 7. Kings Island's Oktoberfest. Tragically, the very same day as the guest fell to her death from the Flight Commander, another deadly accident happened at Kings Island. After watching a guest fall into a man-made pond in the Oktoberfest area, 2 nearby onlookers, one of them being a park employee, a security guard, and the other a guest, tried to help the man out, but unfortunately, all 3 were electrocuted in the pond. The cause was later noted to be due to an underwater circulation pump. Horrified guests stood helpless and in horror as they watched the 3 men die from the electrified water. Number 6. Kings Island's Firehawk. After the coaster, capable of reaching speeds up to 50 miles per hour and with a height of 115 feet, came back to the station on a summer day in 2009, it was apparent that one passenger seemed to have difficulty breathing. The man was taken to a nearby hospital where he later died. It was later discovered that he had a pre-existing heart condition and was also recovering from the flu/respiratory infection at the time of the ride. While the untimely death of this guest was not directly attributed to the ride, some think that the steel flying coaster with its intense height and speed played a key role in the incident. Number 5. Kings Island's Eiffel Tower. A 17-year-old boy was attending a 1983 high school graduation party at the amusement park when he fell to his death down the elevator shaft at the park's famed Eiffel Tower attraction. Apparently, he had climbed a large fence and tried to jump on top of the elevator, which had been rising at the time of the incident. It's not speculated that the boy was trying to commit suicide, but rather likely attempting to impress his friend by achieving such a feat, or simply enjoying some reckless fun on his grad night. It should be noted that the attraction now features bars, which would make a repeat of this incident impossible. Number 4. Knott's Berry Farm's Calico Railroad. This story is as tragic as the rest of them, but perhaps with an added element of frustration, as this was just a case of a person trying to do their job. A ride operator was killed in 1996 after being caught between 2 cars that had gotten stuck on the tracks. The employee, likely thinking that it would be fairly easy enough to disconnect the stuck cars and get them moving again, got caught on the tracks himself and died by getting crushed by the heavy cars while attempting to separate them. The ride operator wasn't even new to the Calico Railroad. He had spent all of his 3 years of employment learning and working the ride. Number 3. Knott's Berry Farm's Montezooma's Revenge. This famous monster coaster features a flywheel clutch launch system, reaches speeds of up to 60 miles per hour in just 3 tiny seconds, loops its brave passengers up 7 stories high, plunging them forward and backward, giving them the ride of their life. Sadly, one of its passengers, 20-year-old aspiring singer and model from Africa, Justine Balaya, died of a ruptured cerebral artery one day after her ride on the roller coaster in 2001. An autopsy revealed that she had a pre-existing brain aneurysm condition that was unknown to her, and even though the investigation concluded that the ride didn't cause her death, her family filed a wrongful death suit in 2002 with her lawyer insisting that it was the force of the ride that set up the right environment for the aneurysm to occur, and that Balaya wouldn't have died had it not been for the fateful coaster ride. The case was later dismissed in 2006. Number 2. Knott's Berry Farm's Perilous Plunge. The park called this water-based coaster, which has been closed since 2012, the steepest and highest drop of any water ride in the world. A year before the ride shut down, a 40-year-old mother of 5, Lori Mason Larez, was attending a private party at the park and somehow fell out of her seat on the multi-passenger boat during the high plunge, suffering blunt force trauma, and was pronounced dead at the hospital. Although her seat belt and lap bar were closed and in a locked position when the boat returned to the docking station, she somehow slipped out of the ride's individual restraints during the 90-second ride. How exactly Lori slipped from her restraints without them being unfastened was not determined. Number 1. Worlds of Fun's Timber Wolf. This wooden coaster, which is still in operation today, is a huge attraction at Worlds of Fun in Kansas City, Missouri. It boasts features such as a rare 560-degree upward spiraling helix and takes its passengers up to 100 feet at speeds of 45 miles per hour. This coaster is so intimidating that the park installed a chicken exit for those too afraid to continue on in line. A sign in front of the coaster offers a warning to its would-be passengers: extreme vibrations and roughness are a nature of this ride. Do not be alarmed. One of the passengers who decided to brave the ride was a 14-year-old girl who tragically fell to her death from the roller coaster during a sharp turn at one of the coaster's high points in 1995. Her family disputed claims from the park that witnesses had seen the girl in the process of switching seats and moving around when the accident occurred. After a safety inspection, new lap bars were required and installed, and the family settled with the park on the amount of $200,000.